Now about downtown Portland. It's a place that brings a variety of very strong reactions every time we bring it up. There's a new report out that might show an encouraging trend. Might. First, some background. Last week we told you about a story from UC Berkley that looked at major cities across North America and how well they have or have not recovered from the pandemic. That's in terms of people spending time downtown. They looked at cell phone data to estimate how many people were visiting a place and how they were moving around. And then they compared the numbers from this past spring to 2019 before COVID hit so hard. It did not surprise a lot of you to learn that Portland came in, well, nearly last. That'd be 60th out of 62 cities. By their metrics, Portland is only about 41% recovered from the pandemic effects. And that made sense to a lot of you. Jan wrote, "I don't feel safe anywhere downtown. I've been yelled at, followed, and I refuse to put myself in harm's way. The city must clean up downtown." And this one from Patty and Mike says, "For many, many years, we went to the downtown area for symphony, historical society lectures, and other entertainment. No longer do we feel safe going to these evening events, which we sometimes attended by taking public transportation. Gun violence, drug paraphernalia, and overwhelming mounds of trash will have to be thoroughly addressed before we go downtown again." And that's just a small section of the comments that we got on this story. We didn't get any downtown defenders, by the way, but the group, Downtown Portland Clean and Safe, has a more positive spin on what's happening downtown. They released a study of their own showing that visits to downtown Portland are actually increasing, and that's a good thing. But here's the thing, they compared this year's numbers to last year's numbers, not to 2019. They concluded that downtown Portland is seeing 64% more visitors in 2022 than in 2021, which makes sense. A lot of businesses were still closed in 2021, and most big events were canceled. So it is better now than when it was awful, but not like before. Clean and Safe is calling it a tremendous rebound from 2021. Okay, we'll give you that, and that's great. We had an interview scheduled with them today to ask them about their study, but they backed out. They did say that downtown Portland remains the state's economic heartbeat. And here's something interesting. The study showed that people are coming downtown on the weekends. You can see a big jump on Friday and Saturday there compared with the rest of the week. And it does seem to increase between 6 and 10 p.m. They concluded that people are coming downtown for dinner and for recreation. And if you've gone to any of the downtown festivals this summer, you've seen it for yourself. People are coming down for things like the Pride Festival. There were thousands of people for that. Same was true with the Blues Festival and many of the Rose Festival events. But how did the numbers actually shake out? A Clean and Safe study showed a 58% increase in Rose Festival attendance compared to last year, but an overall drop from before the pandemic, only about 71% of the 2019 levels. We asked the Rose Festival about their attendance this year, and here's what they told us. "We cannot say with absolute certainty what the exact number is. I can say that on average, because it rained every day of the festival," by the way, that sounds like Portland, "and people have been away from it for so long and maybe still hesitant about public gatherings, that our numbers were down across the board for most every event, parades and city fair included." We also asked the Portland Saturday Market for their numbers. They've had to limit operations in the last 2 years, and at one point it seemed like they might not make it, but they have. Now they're back open on Saturdays, and they tell us that while they're still gathering the numbers, things are actually looking great. They wrote, "The vendors who have been at the market for many years have clearly reported that attendance is at, if not higher than pre-pandemic. Even though we are only open on Saturdays this year, they have all reported an increase in sales, and some have had the best sales in over 25 years. One thing both studies we've been talking about agree on, people are not coming downtown to work in office jobs. Both studies showed low numbers during the day on weekdays. The researchers from UC Berkley told us that cities like Portland aren't recovering as quickly as others because too much of the downtown area is devoted to office jobs for people who can work from home. And you know what? In many cases now, they're doing just that. They suggested that cities rethink downtown areas and develop more residential and recreational areas there. We plan to follow up with the city to get their thoughts on that. But we also want to hear from you. Would you go downtown for the festival or to eat out or to see a show? If not, why not? What would have to change to make you feel comfortable going down again? Send us an email. The address is thestory@kgw.com or leave us a voicemail, 503-226-5090.